Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Timone Show. Today we're going overseas to the UK to my buddy here, Marc Ducrow.
Well, how are you doing?
How you doing there, Mark?
Yeah, that was that. You know what? I really tried to do a bad English accent, and I don't know how it sounded to you.
Hey, do your best to sound American, just for a
Uh,
second, because I want you to be as
gee.
natural as you want. But
Oh shit, man. Now I really don't know what to say. Now, well, what part am I talking? What do I say?
I don't know,
Hey, I'm
like
walking here.
we order we order like cheeseburgers and shit, or like we order pizza on the telephone. I don't know, like
Okay.
that's
Yo,
what we do.
give me a double waffle burger, a fries, and half a milkshake.
You're terrible. You're terrible.
Yeah.
Stick to drawing because acting is not something that you could probably do well.
Oh shit! I better leave them agencies then.
Definitely stick to to drawing. My guest here, Marc Ducrow, is an amazing artist. We're working together. We're working on a comic book. He's working on so many things. This is actually an episode. We're going all things Spider-Man because both of us saw Spider-Man: Homecoming late. I saw it about like a month and a half ago. He saw it like 2 weeks
Weeks.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like we were like, let's do a movie review. He's like, all right, mate, let's do it.
Well, I'm not Australian. I'll
It's
do it, mate.
hey, I cross them a lot. So like when I do the accents, I cross them a lot. So I apologize.
It's
But
funny because from like my home town, as you guys would say, like I was born and raised in Birmingham, but in Birmingham I don't really have much of an accent. So some people would say like they would think that I was Australian. Whereas now I've moved further south, I've moved into like proper farmland now, where everybody there talk a bit like this, and they all go fishing, so I really stand out like a sore thumb. But back in my home city, I sound like a foreign Australian guy that's travelled over, which is news to me because I think I sound like your bog standard, Birmingham guy.
I have some relatives in Southern America over down in like Florida and stuff, and I went and visited them when I was younger, like back in like when I was in like elementary school and stuff. And
Mm.
it was so fascinating. We were doing go karts, and my cousin Lisa, just out of nowhere, was like, "Yeehaw!" And I just lost my shit completely. And, and
Oh, I
oh
should have I should have done that when you asked me to do an accent.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeehaw!
because America has about like 5 or 6 accents or so. So like
Oh, there's got to be more than that, dude.
just the United States, not including Canada and Mexico. So like just
There's got to be more than 5 or 6 accents, surely.
man, it's a lot, but I don't. It's there's a lot of like combining of accents. Like you got the East Coast accent, like the like people from Boston and stuff, where they'll all like, "We're wicked smart, y'all," and then it, it's I don't know, it's crazy. I've always been fascinated because I try to incorporate that like different accents in different parts of the area in the dialogue and in my writing and stuff. And the first time I ever noticed that in any writing, I was reading Preacher by Garth Ennis. You ever read that shit?
Yeah, I read a couple of issues. Yeah.
But there was well, there's the vampire character. Uh he's Irish or some shit like that, and they in his dialogue and when he speaks or whatever, you can tell that he's like from that in his dialect and how it's written.
Yeah.
And then there's this one part I was always fascinated. I read this shit when I was a freshman in high school, and there's this part where this guy gets thrown off a roof, and he's like "fook" or whatever. So he's like, I, I thought it was fascinating. I was all like, so like, and I was just getting into writing then, so I was like, this is stuff I want to try to incorporate in my writing. So I try to pay attention to that how different people speak in different areas of the world or just the country or even just the city. Because
Yes,
you know,
I've
like
had similar issues with that, like just little slips, like with standing tall. When I was writing that, I kind of I made up the city, but it was like kind of like like a Gotham sort of deep dwelling thing. So it just natural that the main character was to speak American. But I did a voiceover for the start of it, and actually in the comic book, somebody noticed that instead of calling it a trash can, I called it a bin. And
yeah,
they're like, well, I
yeah.
don't understand. Is this American or is it English? I'm an English guy, you know. It's kind of half based on me, and so I guess he's English. But the city, I understand, might look a bit American. So let's just say that he's an Englishman living in America. Let's just go with that. But it was really difficult for me to think in like a different sort of language for that different accent, not language for quite a
Right.
while. Yeah, funny. Fook. Yeah, I've got to get that one in. Fook.
It's so funny. Like before I started working with you, I was working like I met a whole bunch of people on Facebook groups, and I was working with this guy, Craig Holt. He's out in the UK, and uh, he's an amazing artist. Like I don't know if he can like if he could help me like invent like character designs and stuff, but you could give him
Yeah.
like really good designs and he can just make stuff better. You know, like he's the type of guy
Oh,
that can just make like you could give him anything and he'll just make it better.
oh, that's cool. It's always handy to have one of those guys around. I
Yeah,
wish I had one of those guys.
yeah, he's well, you're just that guy. You just make everything look beautiful. So like,
Oh, thanks, man.
I'm
Ah,
not lying.
shucks.
I'm not lying.
Oh, cheers, dude. I appreciate that. It's always nice to hear. It's always difficult to receive, but always nice to hear. So thank you.
Oh yeah, I know, right? Back when I used to draw and stuff all the time, which I still do. I could draw like one good thing a year. So like
It's just specifically one good thing a year.
that's it. Yeah, and that's really how it works out. I haven't done my one good thing yet this year. I haven't drawn anything, so I still have a little bit. I have a
Dude,
little bit
hurry
of
up,
time.
hurry up.
I have a little bit of time, but
Uh,
I've been writing a lot, and like not only am I writing these all these comics because I'm writing a few different titles right now. I'm writing like six different titles for my universe, and
yeah, well,
then
I have one of them, and it's pretty awesome.
yeah,
No, I'm not going to give any hints away.
well, and then well, then on top, I'm writing a novel that's based on it's like medieval times. It's about like beastmen fighting dragons and all. It's gonna be crazy. So like I'm writing that shit too. So like and then I have a little buddy over. He just got a novel published. Uh,
Yeah.
and he's writing scripts for my universe too. So like he's writing like three, four. He's writing like five titles and stuff for me right now too. So it's getting pretty bonkers.
That's, yeah, that's pretty big. That's a
So
big universe to have.
yeah, and right now it's just getting overwhelming because now I'm at the point where I'm like, just let me. He,
Just let me
I'm like,
sit for a
because he just
week.
keeps on writing nonstop. Just like, uh, uh,
You should be like, just stop and let me just draw one good picture this year, and then fill me with all these scripts.
yeah, yeah. Let me finish a couple scripts with Mark. You know, let me get some other stuff going down. You know, and then like, and and oh man, I don't know. It's good to be ahead. You know, because then like like it's gonna always be my vision that's being written
Yeah.
down or whatever, and it won't have. And like, if everything gets like super popular and fans will be all like, "Hey, you should start doing, you should do this or whatever,"
You
and
should do a
like
talk show.
I knew this, I knew this was gonna happen because whatever. I'm all like, no, dude, I'm already like 12 issues ahead of what you guys are trying to predict or whatever. So like, I don't, so like, it's good to be
Yeah.
ahead of
Yeah, yeah,
yourself,
yeah.
whatever, and so then you have less fan input of what you want because then it's always just going to be your vision instead of
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
uh,
it's not a bad way to think of it because I haven't come across that yet. To be completely honest with you, I always take everything with a pinch of salt. But like with standing tall, it's like I say, it's loosely based on me,
oh
and
yeah,
there's a lot of metaphors in it And like I'm not quite open about saying it. Like if somebody pisses me off in the real world, I'm gonna write them in the comic that might not look like them or have the same name, but they're in the comic, and I'm just gonna have my main guy beat the shit out of you. You know, that's just the way it's gonna go. It's like my way of venting. So the fan input or the reader's input, you know, does often change and manipulate the story that I'm writing, but it's not always the case. You know, I've got an end, and I've got a kind of a rough middle, and I'm just going to hit those points and have as much fun as I go with it.
I haven't even been playing any Spider-Man videos. I've just been fascinated in conversation and then drinking. Well, like, because now people are going to be watching this. Hopefully they just listen to it. They're going to be watching a blank desktop and just listening to us ramble.
You know,
which is fine.
talking,
which is fine. You know, like, to me, like, it's the show has never been really much to watch anyways. It's always just been like me sitting with a friend in their living room and like whatever. So like it's always just been something to listen to.
My face is
so like, and
my face is always gonna put people off.
Yeah, you're a handsome son of a bitch. You're like a more talented, better looking version of me. Cause like what, you're 30, right?
Oh, dude, it's paying you. Come on.
You're 30 also, right?
31. I think, yeah, 30, 32 next year.
32. It's all right. I'm about to be 31 here at the end of the month. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, like, on the 25th. or the 30th. You still there?
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit. I'm losing you.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
All right, you're there. All right,
Am I back in the game?
You're back. You're back.
Okay, there we go. Sorry, that's our English internet for you. To be fair, where I live now, it's like it's like.
Don't get me started. Get me started on terrible internet. Oh my god.
We've just got sea and then farmlands are all around us, so we haven't really got, you know, super high speed internet yet, and I'm happy with that. You know, we get the TV.
So this Spider-Man movie that you did the poster for,
yeah,
I'm fascinated about that. I think I've known about this movie for about a year now, and I haven't even inquired about how I can like get a hold of this movie, how I can see it, how do we have to buy it? Like I'm fascinated about this movie right now.
Well, hang on 2 seconds. And what I'll do, because you can watch the first one on YouTube. The director Joey, he's a really good guy. He's just a hardcore fan. Always has been a fan of Spider-Man, and just he was directing a few things. And I don't know whether he went to there it is, Last Course. I don't know whether he was in uni or whatnot, but he was just fascinated with Spider-Man and decided to do a movie. And the first movie you can watch on YouTube, and I'll send you over the link so you can take a look. But it's got over 23 million watches on YouTube.
Yeah.
And book group, and he showed up a couple of clips of this Spider-Man he's doing called Another World, and like the effects and some of the things that he's doing are really like it was like, wow, you know, I want to be a part of this. So I sent him a message as well, boom, I love the looks of what you're doing, I would love to be a part of it. I'm a comic book artist and I do movie posters and things like that.
Yeah.
Board artist or poster artist, and he looked at my work and we just clicked, we just got on, and we're really close now. So yeah, he's just literally earlier today asked me to do a poster for them, and I believe that he wanted the movie to be released. When did he say? I think it was November. Tony said, but it's been postponed because nobody has to pay to watch these movies. He literally puts them up on YouTube. He doesn't monetize it. He doesn't earn any money from it. He just does it for fun and for experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. On IMBD, I think it's cost him next to nothing. In fact, like um, he's been messaging me today, and I think at one point he says that the first movie, The Last Cause, was basically filmed by three people, and then just a load of other acting fans and things and friends that he knew that wanted to be a part of it, and then it just got massive with the first one, and so after Demand he's done number two, and it's like a UK based Spider-Man, so his suit is like, it's got the Union Jack kind of mixed into it a little bit.
Yeah,
It's really quite cool, man.
yeah. It looks really like dark and gritty, and oh man,
Yeah,
I watched the trailer for it like a while back, and it looked really cool.
yeah.
Uh,
Did you have you seen the one? Um, he did one, and he does a backflip in it at one point while he's fighting in a bar. And I was like, dude, is that actually you? And it was him doing the stunts, and he did the
no
backflip. And
shit.
yeah, he was training for a while to do these backflips and stuff. But yeah, he goes all
That's
out. Like
cool.
in this new one, they built like with their own hands and a couple of carpenter friends. They built a whole sort of set just for one scene where he hangs upside down on his web. And I don't know which scene it is or whatnot, but you wouldn't know. You'd think it was all done outside. Clever dick he is, and it just so happens that we get on. He's really good. They've been kicked off about 7 roofs, but they didn't have permission to film on these roofs, and they've been done by the police a couple of times. So yeah, it's good fun to be a part of, and he's asked me to do a third poster for. We'll see what comes about that.
Oh yeah, I'm really that'd be so cool, man. I oh man. All right, so now that Spider-Man, we're going all things Spider-Man. We're not just going Spider-Man Homecoming. We're going all things Spider-Man because like I like to compare. I like to compare Spider. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. Like,
Yeah,
uh, if I'm going in my top three, it's gonna be Spider-Man, uh, Scarlet Spider, and
yeah,
then Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern. Those are my top three fucking superheroes, and two of them are Spider-Man. So fucking
yeah, yeah. I think Spider-Man was the first comic book that I was to, and I was never really like that geeky kid in school, but I just related to the humor. And I think it was about just before the time that the comics, and I think it was just the Ultimate Spider-Man series started. I mean, this must be, oh man, it must be like 97, I'm guessing. But yeah, so Spider-Man is the first sort of comic book that I got into, and then it obviously, went to different ways. Introduced me to Wolverine and Hulk and stuff. But Spider-Man's always been the one that I'd go home and I'd watch the classic cartoon of Spider-Man.
yeah.
And yeah, I used to. In fact, I've got a couple of those on DVD that I keep trying to force my two little girls. They're 4 and 6. I keep saying, let's watch Spider-Man, and they're into it for like an episode. But then all of a sudden, it's like, we want to watch My Little Pony, or it's like,
That
no.
show is actually still good because I've watched it recently and it holds up. It still holds up. It's a really good show. Uh,
Yeah, it does. It does. I think I remember at one point it must have finished, and then they just started playing random ones to the heart. It's like, I've seen this one. I was so gutted when they stopped making them. And then I think it turned to Spider-Man. The 2000 series. Was it 2000? I can't remember
it
which
was
one it was now.
it was Spider-Man Unlimited where he went to he went to Counter Earth.
Yeah, I think that was the one. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's Spider-Man goes well back. I've just got some interesting facts up. Karen in Homecoming, the Spider-Man woman suit. Well, it turns out that she in real life is actually married to the guy that does Jarvis's voice. So there's like a marriage in there, and people are hoping
He
people are
was
hoping that.
Jarvis. He was Jarvis in Agent Carter.
Was he? I didn't watch that show.
Yeah. So
No
like the
way, I
dude
didn't
who
know
does
that.
Jarvis's voice really is Jarvis also, and then he's gonna be Jarvis again in or not really Jarvis, but a human version of the Vision in Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Oh really? Oh,
Yeah,
that's cool. I love the Vision. I love him so much, and
yeah.
it's just such a cool character. But yeah, so that's an interesting fact for you.
I'm gonna call you back. I'm gonna call you right back.
Man. So yeah, what really got me going, I guess this is gonna be a history of comics, I guess, because like this was like around 1994, 95. That's around when like those cartoons were coming out. I was also collecting the I don't know if you guys got them out there. There were the Flair, there were the 1994, 1995 Flair and Fleer like collecting cards,
Right.
like, and they would have like really really awesome artwork on them from like really like from like either cover like uh uh it was all brand new artwork and shit, and then on the back of the card it would have information of like the characters like first appearance, their height, their weight, their blood type, all sorts of cool stuff. And then have like a whole summary of like their background or like what they're about or whatever. And so like it was about it was like my whole neighborhood as like a kid like was collecting these fucking cards, and like we loved them. And then the X-Men
Yeah.
cartoon came out and we went ballistic, and then the Spider-Man cartoon came out like a year or so
Yeah.
later, and then like I went ape shit because then I had the video for Super Nintendo. I had the video games, the Maximum Carnage and the Separation.
Oh yeah, that was so cool. I had that one.
It had
Oh man, I
it
forgot
was
about that.
it was red. The cartridge for it was red and shit. It was so cool.
Yeah.
And then there was another game just like it, and then there was a comic book article for it too called Separation Anxiety, where there's like the whole city's being overrun by symbiotes and shit, and you get to play as Spider-Man and Venom.
Oh
And like,
really? I didn't know that one.
yeah, it's just like Maximum
Wow.
Carnage, where you have that Streets of Rage type fighting style where you're walking around and like it's a side scroller, you know. Like,
Yeah, I just got the sorry, I got excited.
yes, you
um
did.
I've just googled it, and the cover came up, and it's, oh man, yeah, flashbacks. Oh wow.
So
I
yeah,
completely forgot about that.
so then all that shit came out, and I even had the Separation Anxiety comics. So me and my mom used to ride bikes to the comic book store every couple weeks or whatever, and I would buy like when I was buying the cards, and I'd buy a little booster pack of the cards, and then I'd always scroll through whatever books were out, and like if I ever had a couple extra bucks, I'd buy one, and I ended up buying
Yeah.
like I had a lot of the Separation Anxiety art, and it blew my mind because I was just finding out about Venom, and then I was just finding out about Carnage, and like Carnage blew my mind. I was like, oh my
Oh
god, this
yeah, he
character
was
is so
cool.
violent. And and then I also had a buddy like we also had like suitcases full of the action figures. So like, so
I had so many action figures when I was
we
growing
went
up, and
so crazy. Like I didn't even know about the comics from the comics. I knew about them from whatever information I got, whatever was on the back of the box from the action figures, and then whatever was on the cards,
you
and
learned the
then like
hard
a
way.
little bit from the comics, and then stuff from video games and cartoons, and then like I
Yeah.
barely got because like the comics were like there was just so many. Like when you were at the store, like when you go there with your mom or whatever, and you're just buying whatever you're buying, when you can just browse through whatever comics you can real quick before you got to go. That's how you got your information.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, it's a blast to the past, because there's so much of this stuff I've actually forgotten, and like the action figures, I've googled like the Spider-Man action figures, and I had so many of them that I've just forgotten about, and I think I left up in my dad's loft, and obviously it disappears, and I had a younger brother, and he got some of them, and Yeah, it's just I'm getting some more action. Some of the new ones though, they're like there's one here and he's like holding a phone to his ear and he's got a backpack on and stuff. I haven't seen
I'm
most of those.
I'm collecting right now. I'm collecting the current run of the Spectacular Spider-Man. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
He's teamed up with his sister Teresa, and he's teamed up with Human Torch, and they're on some investigative fucking shit going down, and it's pretty good.
that sounds cool, man. Because you wouldn't think that him and the Human Torch really sort of, you know, you wouldn't think that they got on
They hit
at
it
all,
off.
really.
They hit it off. Human Torch is really trying to fuck Peter's sister because she's attracted to like
What? How old is she?
she's around the same age as all of them. So like
What 14, 15? That's a
no
legal
no
over.
no no it's older Peter. It's
Got
older.
you right.
It's 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 yeah, it's not in the current. It's not in like Homecoming run. It's in it's
It's
it's just it was a new run. It started at number one. It's ending at no. It's over now. I'm a couple issues behind because I've had to take care of some stuff. So like
yeah.
I'm a couple. But then after number six, it's going back into its old printing number, which is like 700 some other bullshit. And I'm
Wow.
like, why are you doing this? Why don't you just fucking keep this going as like? But whatever. It's gonna. So it's a 6 issue run, and then it's going and then it went back into its legacy printing, and
Yeah.
so I'm behind. I'm probably just like 2 months behind on it, but
Yeah. It's I'm always late to things, and purely because I'm either late because I'm too busy to check it out, or like I'm buying them and I'm not reading them until I can binge read them. I do it with I'm always late to the movies as well. What I'm always like, I don't want to hear this spoilers. So, I haven't seen it, but it's 4 months old. No, I haven't seen it. Sure,
that's why.
but
Usually when we see movies, we go and see two at once. So when we went and saw Justice League, because I was all like. I was like, 'cause my buddy had contacted me. We tell this in my Thor trailer that I just posted on Monday, or my Thor review that we just posted on Monday. We talk about this, where
yeah,
he hit me up. He's all like, "Hey, you want to double feature Thor and Justice League?" And I was all like, "Yeah, absolutely," because that's how we see movies. We see two. We like when we saw Batman vs Superman, I think we saw like Power Rangers.
yeah,
And then when we saw and then when we saw like Civil War, we saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and stuff. We always see two movies. So like,
yeah,
and I was all like, I'm like, yeah, I want to do this, but I want to give Justice League my movie. I don't want to give Thor my I don't want to give Thor my money. I want to give Justice League my money. And he's all
yeah.
like, fine. Whatever. And I kind of wish I would have went the other way because but now I'm kind of glad. I'm like, well, Justice League kind of needed our money more, so so I'm kind
It
of
was
glad
more of
they
a
gave me my
charity.
money. So, but Thor was a lot more thrilling ride, like Thor. I wasn't thrilled with the first two Thor movies. So then when I saw Thor
Yeah.
3, I was blown away. I was like, this movie is amazing. Like,
Yeah, see, I haven't seen the last Thor either. I've seen the other two, I think,
yeah.
but yeah, I haven't seen the latest one. But I won't watch any trailers. I'm awful, and
I don't watch trailers either.
no,
So
I
like
can't.
so when people are like, "All the shit was in the trailers," I'm like, so I don't fucking care, dude. I was fucking laugh. I was totally enjoying it because like I don't know
Yeah,
what's in it. I see, but I do get to the movies early so I can watch those trailers. I do watch those, and then that's
yeah,
it. And I'm like, all right, so I know what's coming out. And then after that, I'm like,
uh,
all right,
yeah.
that's all I need.
If it's got the briefest information, like literally just like say I don't know, Spider-Man: Homecoming coming soon, I'll watch that.
Yeah,
If it's got any more information, I'm all for. I will start. I'll get up and I'll go to the toilet, or I'll turn it off, or mute the TV, or I'll do anything. And I mean, it drives my wife up the wall if she wants to watch the trailer. It's like, no, don't, because you're ruining the magic for yourself.
magic.
Imagine, Yeah, the magic in movies, it's completely gone because you know the ending before you've even gone to watch the movie. You're like, it's like with Bat, Batman versus Superman. You just kind of, "Right, when's Wonder Woman coming in?" Whereas I didn't know that was going to happen until she jumped in. I kind of did know because going to comic conventions and stuff, you get spoilers, and
Yeah.
sometimes you're not quick enough to shut people up. But a lot of that stuff was like, oh, blimey, oh wow, I didn't know that. So the magic in movies is coming back for me quite quickly. And my wife, I mean, she loves Paddington. She loved the first Paddington movie, and she's desperate to see number 2. But I've been really bad with her, and I said, look, just trust me. Don't watch a single trailer, and don't listen to the kids if they're telling you anything about it. And I promise you, the magic in movies will come back. And it did with me with Homecoming, because I didn't know that it was based on a younger Spider-Man. I didn't know that, all these changes were going to be. People are saying Iron Man 4, which is I can understand that.
But did you watch? So you didn't watch Civil War before you saw Homecoming?
Yeah, I did. But it still didn't give too much away for me. I saw the suit and I saw little clips of him, but
Yeah,
it didn't.
Yeah, but you do see a little kid, like a little, like damn near, like how old is he supposed to be in this movie? Like 15 or whatever.
Yeah, 15. Yeah. I didn't think anything of it though. I just thought, yeah, he was a young kid, and that's how I remember him. I remember him being like, a 15-year-old kid in the comic books that I was reading, and that's normal to me, And I'm so glad to see him back, in that age group where he's just hitting puberty and his body is changing, or it should be changing by now. So it didn't really ruin that much for me seeing it in that order. But the Homecoming movie itself, that was all like, and my wife, she really enjoyed it,
Yeah, so like I was completely blown away. Like even I saw I read so many spoilers, and because I don't really give a fuck about spoilers, because I work in the entertainment industry. I work in the theater, so like I already know what goes on behind stage, whatever. I've been like backstage at like movies and stuff, whatever. So like I'm not really like I don't really care. Like if a good story is a good story. So like I read a bunch of spoilers. I saw a bunch of spoiler reviews before I actually watched the movie, and I was still completely thrilled by Spider-Man: Homecoming. Like everything about it was like just great cinema. Like,
you know what? Yeah, my wife said, it had a Daredevil feel about it, and yeah, it wasn't crude or rude or anything, but the humor was sort of. I mean, Deadpool is another league. Don't get me wrong, I love that movie, but the sarcasm, I think she meant, and I could kind of get what she understood, like with the movie itself and the character. And I think I've forgotten the guy. Is it Tom Holland? Is it?
yeah.
I think he did a fantastic job, portraying the young Spider-Man, and, learning to get.
He's a little English guy too.
Yeah, I was surprised we saw him on a. I got overexcited again. Then see us, Blitz, we're taking over. But yeah, I was so surprised to hear him talking. I was like, hang on, in the movie, he does a good accent.
Yeah, he does a really good like Queens type like East Coast like New York accent. Like he's really good at it. Like he does. A good job.
Yeah, I taught him everything he knows. Clearly.
I'll share this with you if you got water. I don't have any water. I got water upstairs. Like you gotta fill it in the cup. I have a guest over, Mark. He came over mid-episode. Hello, Mark.
How do you do, Nate?
I'm all right, man.
Mark, dude, we're overseas right now, dude. We're 6 hours away on this conversation, man. Mark's in the future.
Oh man.
Yeah, I can tell you what's going to happen in 6 hours.
How's it feel in the future, man?
Old. I don't know. Yeah, it feels good. I think.
Mark, this is Robert. He's a good kid. I've known him since high school.
Oh, Robert, it's a pleasure to meet you, mate.
You too, sir.
You really get that water though. You sound like you're struggling.
Oh no, I'm all right, man. I'm all right. Just got old lungs.
Jesus.
Old lungs. I bet you I'm older than you as well.
So what I really found impressive with this movie is how like they brightened it up a lot.
Yeah, it felt
And
fresh.
like no, but with the colors in general, like everything, like I don't know if just when they went through the editing after they but everything
Was
red was brightened up
yeah,
like so like I don't know if that was with the like because they like everything is using digital film now, so like when they're
yeah,
going in and whatever software they're using to change the lighting and the tones or whatever, like there's a part when he's supposed to be at Liz's party and he's like skipping around through the fucking
the suburban over the houses, and they
and
do that kind of
there's a kid who has red swim trunks and it's like just as bright as his costume, and I was like, that's fascinating,
yeah,
but I liked it. I liked seeing a nice bright uplifting
yeah.
neighborhood
It was
Spider-Man. Like this is the first time we had a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Like it was going around helping old ladies cross the road and like doing stupid shit. Like he got
leaving the notes. Is this your bike? Please don't steal it. Spider
or,
Man.
or that one or he thought the dude was trying to break into his car, but it was his own car. Or he was all like, "What the fuck, dude?"
I gotta admit, man, I would do the same. That dude looks shifty. He needed a smack in the face.
Everybody looks shifty in New York, dude. Like this is fucking have you like I live an hour away from Chicago. I live in a little small town of Rockford, and everybody
Yeah.
looks shifty in Rockford. So like like
Extra shit.
people look extra shifty in Chicago. So like and
Why is that? What's so scary in Chicago?
you just I don't you just there's it's
Anything can happen.
it's just that there's so many people. Yeah, literally anything can happen. Like you could get stabbed and mugged or whatever. There's so many people walking by that nobody can see who did it, how it happened, whatever. And you could just die. And I don't know. And like like it's it's just too many people in a small area.
Yeah,
Because it's really not
that's
it's really not that big. Like you can walk around that city like all day and get around everywhere.
no. See, I've never had the pleasure of coming over to America. I really wanted to, and I was supposed to move to LA earlier this year to work with Universal Studios, but unfortunately, I couldn't get a working visa due to your friend Trump.
Fuck Trump. He's not our friend.
I'll see. I heard that you were all friends with him, so I just assumed you were friends with him. But yeah, he stopped me from getting a working visa, so I couldn't actually come over to LA to work.
That's
Unfortunately,
shitty, dude. That's a good opportunity.
yeah,
Universal Studios.
yeah, it really kind of screwed me over in my career. But there you go.
Fuck, man.
You know, there's always the future. I work with advertisement agencies over here in England, and we're obviously, we're clearly better actors, and we do good accents, as you can hear.
You know what? Me and you working together, we'll get Vernon Avenue Press bigger than Universal Studios, and we'll just piss on them every time they walk by us.
Yeah, we'll go Disney on their ass. We make franchises, not not dark movies.
I swear to God, dude. Like once, I might want some of that pizza. No, I'm full actually. No, get that away from me.
I'll have some.
Give some to Mark.
Mark, you want some pizza, man? I
don't know man,
send it out. Be in 6 hours, but fuck it.
You just send it on via Future Press.
We need to be friends with speedsters.
Speedster.
Oh, this man. We need to be friends with some people that can run really fast.
Well, is it Chicago claim that they are the home of pizza? Is that right? Like Chicago pizzas, we get Chicago pizzas over here, and I'm sure on the box it says something like the home of pizza. So I'm sure that shit was Italian.
It's not true, but Chicago probably makes the best pizza in the country.
Is it deep pan?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Deep Dish is the home of Chicago.
Yeah,
Like,
it's got to be deep dish.
People from New York will come to Chicago and be like, "What the fuck? How do you eat this? Like, what do you do?" Like,
I can feel my heart stopping as I'm eating it.
But shit, in New York, you get a foot long piece of pizza. It's flat as a piece of paper, but it's a
Yeah.
foot long. You know.
Oh,
And of course it tastes good because there's no extra dough. You know what I'm saying? It's all cheese
Yeah.
and sauce. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in New York, you'll get those giant slices. They'll be like $4. Or you get like a giant slice. It'll be like it'll fill you up and your kid. You know.
Yeah, but you have to fold that shit like 4 or 5 times. Come on, it's got to be. You know, I want girth. You know?
Yeah.
I missed that one. I'm sorry.
Oh man, it's
Nah,
Yeah.
you just think it's funny when you're not folding your pizza. You're like, why would I fold it? He's like, man, because that's how you eat pizza.
because otherwise,
That's how you do it.
otherwise, all that grease is gonna just spill everywhere. It's gonna cause someone's gonna throw their cigarette down. It's gonna cause a fire.
They should give you the pizza and a cup, so you can fold the pizza, put all the grease in the cup, and then you can still drink the grease if you want to. You know, because that shit's good for you, don't you know?
American dream, I tell you what. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so Spider-Man.
That's what this episode is supposed to be about, Spider-Man. All things Spider-Man. Hey, so who do you think wins in a fight? Like Tom Holland versus Andrew Garfield versus Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire. Nah, I'm just fucking with you.
I was out there like, all right, stop recording right now.
That's why I quickly.
You're fired.
That's why I quickly said I'm fucking with you. 'Cause I know that shit's not right. Oh man, you know, I like Tom Holland, but I think Andrew Garfield's just more with the powers. Are you talking about as Spider-Man or as the actor?
Everything around Spider-Man, Peter Parker with the powers, like how everything, from everything that we've seen.
I would say Andrew Garfield might just cut the biscuit.
Yeah.
I think it'd be close though, because Tom Holland Spider-Man, he's like, I mean, he's got that kick-ass suit, hasn't he, for a start? You know.
That's one of the things that kind of ruined Homecoming for me, was he had that suit that could just tell him anything he wanted to know, especially when he had Ned. Fucking Ned just hacked into it, all like, all right, you got the training wheels protocol fucking unlocked now. Like,
yeah. Every superhero needs a kid on a destiny, but the suit, it kind of takes it away from Peter Parker a little bit. You know, he doesn't have to work that shit out when he's got that Karen telling him everything. But there is like a slapstick sort of humor that comes with her, I guess, like a Jarvis sort of. She's kind of flirting with him weirdly.
Was that the voice of Pepper Potts?
No, the voice is hang on, Jennifer Connelly, her real name is, and I don't think that's got anything to do with Pepper Potts at all.
So it's just some random.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's a nice voice. It wouldn't suit me though.
I really enjoyed the one scene when he was in the trapped in that storage, when he was trapped in that giant storage unit.
Yeah.
He was like, they showed like a bunch of scenes and him was just like practicing like all his shit that he can do. And he was like,
yeah.
how long has it been? And she's all like, 14 minutes or some shit like that. And he's all like, are you
get out of here. Yeah. To be fair, then, if because I think it was 45 minutes, you said.
Oh, whatever. Yeah, but he had to wait he had to wait all night. You know, he had to wait hours. You know, and
yeah. The suit hasn't got that much stuff on it if he can run the training program in his suit for 45 minutes. You know?
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, It was a fun thing to add, but I think they should down it a little bit just to bring Peter Parker back to Peter Parker.
Back to
And
his roots, back to his spider sense, back
yeah,
to it being just a little more risky, like he could work
yeah,
on
that's it. Yeah.
webs, all that shit, like
Yeah.
that.
I was, one thing that surprised me was, like the cheap suit that he put on towards the end of
Yeah,
the movie. That had the moving eyes as well. There were goggles, but I think I remember seeing them sort of shut, like as if they were on shutters as well. I could be wrong there, but then
I think
yeah,
I think the goggles were like he really couldn't see with them, and like the goggles were something that he really that were something they used, so he really just did rely on his spider sense, because
uh,
there was like a little hint of that in Civil War when Tony Stark was in his room and he's all like, "Can you even see in these things?" He's all like, "Yeah, I can, but it's like you wouldn't understand."
oh yeah, I remember that.
Like so like I think they're a way to like cloud his vision or whatever, so he can actually like rely on his spider sense more.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. He should go out with the blindfold on and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think
Like
the
when back in the comic books when Danny Rand had to be Daredevil because Daredevil was on trial or Matt Murdock was on trial, whatever, for being
yeah,
Daredevil. I think
yeah,
Spider Man would have been a better candidate to pretend to be Daredevil.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, he should have done anyway. You'd have liked to think so.
I don't know.
Yeah. But I did quite like the suit though. I mean, I'm looking at it now, and it's
I
different.
I liked
I
it a
like
lot.
the I like the red.
I like his little makeshift hoodie suit that he has in his garage, and I like his Tony Stark suit.
Yeah, his like little shitty throw together suit that reminded me of. Hang on, let me just have a look here. Which Spider Man it is? I'm gonna the Scarlet Spider Man, where it's just red and
Yeah, where
a
yes,
blue hoodie. I love.
where he has like a jean jacket.
Yeah, I really love that. I remember when it came out, and I was like, "Shit, that's
Yeah,
cool. I want one of those. I'm going
yeah,
out in that."
he's so cool. That's why he's my favorite. He's so cool.
Yeah, he
And
was a bit darker as well, wasn't he? If I remember right, he was a bit more. I'm going to kick you in the nuts now, sort of thing.
yeah, because he's not really Peter Parker. He's a clone, and like I don't know. Both him and Peter Parker are faced with some really cool identity crisis thing during like the Clone Wars. Like some of it
Yeah.
was like really good storytelling, and then some of it was just like way over the top to where it's been told to be one of the worst Spider-Man arcs of all time. But it's
It's,
introduced some of the greatest characters like Ben Riley, aka the Scarlet Spider, and a few others. So who's to say? Like
I liked it personally,
I
and
liked it too.
it was something that you could, could kind of see in real life because I like, as much as I like the away from real life in comic books, I like the thought like these guys could actually exist and stuff, and that it was like slightly closer to the realistic sort of, just a dude whacking on a jumper with a sort of Spider-Man logo on it, and it just kind of it was a little bit more real to me at the time. I think I must have been, oh man, maybe 10, 11 when I first saw it, maybe.
Well, get in luck because Strange Adventures 12. It's gonna be after the 9/11 arc I'm doing because I'm doing that 9/11 arc. It's gonna be issues 9 through 11. Clever,
Yeah.
huh? Hey. So issue number 12, I'm introducing a new story arc where it's gonna introduce a whole new title because that's kind of what Strange Adventures does. It's an analog or an anthology series that
Yeah.
introduces new solo titles, and then also a lot of big events to where people won't have to buy like every single fucking book. I'll pretty much either cancel book titles or
Yeah.
I'll do a lot of flashbacks in those book titles to where their stories will still be canon, but
Oh
it
yeah.
won't be canon to what's going on in the current super arc that's going on in Strange Adventures and going on in Vernon Avenues presents or
Well,
whatever.
that's cool.
So like
Yeah, that sounds interesting. It's
so
deep.
like so like yeah, because that Marvel and DC both did that shit to where you had to like buy like every single title just to go to figure out what's going on. And but I'm just reading Batman. I don't want now I have to buy Green Lantern and fucking
Yeah.
so I want to fucking be like boom. Like if you're reading Super Emu Chronicles, that's one of my titles. If you're reading Super
Yeah.
Emu Chronicles, you don't have to drop that title. You can just have
To
to. You can still
read a
continue
page and
reading her
catch up.
title, and now you just have to buy these two. You just have to buy these two extra
Mm.
books just to figure out what's going on in this
But,
fucking cross
but you,
universe thing that's going on, and then you can, but and then there's still going on, and then there's still going on shit in your title book that's still canon, but not
yeah.
following the direct storyline right now. You know,
But you do
so
have to go back and buy the other comic books because otherwise you're in deep shit.
yeah, yeah. So like, I don't know, like I'm gonna try some different shit, and if it doesn't work, and then I'll figure out stuff that does work, and and it's just gonna go from there. But
Yeah, it sounds cool, man. It
but
sounds proper
anyways,
cool.
in number 12 though, there's gonna be a story that takes place in the UK called it's gonna introduce this book called Misguided, and I'm gonna be talking to you for a lot of uh, uh just the ancient like ancient English fucking mythology and backstory and shit. I'm gonna be talking to you, my best
Oh yeah,
friend, and stuff
you
for a
put a
lot of
post
fucking
about
for a lot of mythology and stuff for a lot of this story to fucking capture and stuff. So
yeah,
I
because
want
you've already started asking questions about that. I mean, what was it you asked me? Something, oh, some crazy shit. Like, do we all sleep in incubators or something? I was just like, no, man, that's not true.
I never.
That was just Michael Jackson, man. As far as I'm aware. Oh man, yeah. But yeah, whenever you're ready, man, just fire away any questions you got, and
Yeah, I want to get really deep into some crazy mythology and whatever, and just dive into it. 'Cause it's gonna be about uh it's gonna be about crazy shit with like the Illuminati and ancient armors of there's gonna be like there's like seven different like ancient armors or whatever, and then like if you combine the certain pieces of the seven pieces into like one fucking I don't know, it's gonna be fucking really cool. I don't know, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be dark. It's gonna be like it's gonna have like a really gothic tone to it.
yeah,
Like it's gonna be fun though.
that sounds cool.
Yeah,
Everybody loves mythology, in some way.
yeah. So
Yeah,
like, and
that sounds cool.
I'm doing a lot of crazy shit in these stories. So like, like I'm doing something magical to where I can appeal to every sort of conspiracy theorist out there, even the ones that can combine all the conspiracies into one. So I'm gonna do some shit to appeal to all of them. I'm gonna do
Yeah,
I'm doing some magical shit with these stories in the near future here. Because like me and you, we're just only beginning. We're on issue one of the entire universe. So like,
you make that sound so big.
it is, it
Yeah,
is.
you just scared me. I was just, oh shit, man, I quit.
Don't quit, dude. It's gonna be magical, dude. You're worth.
It's gonna be magical. I'm not watching any trailers. Don't send me any scripts. I don't want to know.
I'm sending you all the scripts, man.
I gotta draw.
I think I do. I think I email you every single script I get. I'm not sure. Or every as soon as I write one, I think I email you every single one.
Yeah, you've sent me a lot. I've not been able to keep up.
Folks, whoever's listening to this episode, this man is worth every penny that
Oh,
you
thanks,
paid him to
man.
do artwork for. This man is amazing. I'm gonna leave.
Um,
I'm gonna leave uh in the descriptions below, I'm gonna leave contact info for his Marc Ducrow art, and and you can find him on Twitter. Probably. Do you tweet?
Yeah. Facebook is my main thing, to be honest with you. But I'm on them all. So I do put things on Instagram and Twitter and stuff, but it tends to go up on Facebook like first, and then it's just when I get a chance to, I'll put it up on the other ones, But yeah, I mean, my website's all linked from there. That's probably the best place to get it from.
Yeah. And you're really easy to get a hold of all the time, dude. Like,
yeah, I'm a bit of social slut,
like,
if you're not in the game, you're not gonna get the work. Do you know what I mean?
How busy you are, you're like really easy to get a hold of, like all the time. Like, and you're really super sweet. You're always super humble. Like, you're always a nice guy. And like,
thanks, man.
I recommend working with you to anybody, dude. Like,
thanks, man. I do what I can, and the world's full of assholes and dickheads. There's no point in being one. Do you know what I mean? I am who I am, and I love what I do for a living. Why am I going to be, an ass about doing something that I love? I want to do it for the rest of my life, and I genuinely love what I do. I get to do it at home in my pants with my wife, in the same room, and I only have to put trousers on to take my kids to school and answer the door to the postman. Who wants to give that shit up, right? I'm living the dream, and I'm just so humbled that anybody is willing to hire me or look at my artwork or work with me. I'm just happy doing what I do, and I appreciate you for reaching out and recognizing, what I do. So thanks, dude. It's all on you.
Absolutely. Oh man, one more question before we close this up, man. Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah.
What if you? I don't know if you give things a number rating. If you can do, like, you give it 2 thumbs up, like the 1 hard on, a fucking 7 out of 10. Whatever. What do you give fucking Spider-Man: Homecoming?
I'll give it 10 Ducrow points. Ducrow stamp of approval is what I give the kids. If they do something good, they get a Ducrow stamp of approval, and it's just literally me just doing in the air like you get one of those. But yeah, I really liked it, to be honest with you. So I'll give it 10 of those. I'll sit and watch it with the kids. That's always a big bonus. My wife enjoyed it. I can sit and watch it with her. Whereas a lot of movies, they're too dark, or it's something for everybody to enjoy. Even if you're not a big Spider-Man fan or a superhero fan, it's just a fun movie to watch that the kids can watch as well. It's a good all-rounder.
They did a good job on the villain too, man. Like, they finally a Marvel movie, a superhero movie, finally really did a good job on a villain. And so
he was real, yet he was real enough, but yet out there for the fans to be able to connect with and just enjoy as a whole,
Yeah, dude, that car scene on the way to the dance was terrifying. It's all like, oh no, what's gonna happen?
Oh yeah, you see it in his eyes when it clicks, and it's just like, oh man, he knows. Shit, Yeah, I nearly got out of the car, and I wasn't even fucking in the car.
That was terrifying. It's like, fuck.
Yeah, man. So yeah, it gets 10 Ducrow points from me.
10 Ducrow points.
Yeah, man.
All right, man. Well, it was a pleasure having you on. This is uploading on the 4th.
Cool.
That's Monday, right? Yeah.
Yeah, man.
The 4th. So,
just send me a link, man, and I'll skip my bits and I'll skip my bits and I'll listen to you. But thanks for having me on, and I've really enjoyed it, and it's just nice to get talk to a working colleague and a boss, because you're the boss. You pay me to do work, and I do it, and I buy you coffee, and tap you on the butt every now and again.
Ever so firmly too.
Yeah, we'll talk about that off air. But no, thanks for having me on your show, man. It's been a real pleasure, and it's been awesome chatting to you.
Absolutely, man. We gotta do this again sometime soon.
Sounds good to me.
Absolutely pleasure having you on. We went well over half an hour. I don't even know. Hold on.
It's been about an hour now, I think.
It's been
Is it?
about an hour.
Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun. I hope people are still listening. If you are, hey! If you're not, boo.
Fuck them. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's come to a close. Everybody, will catch you guys next week. I don't know what. I'll probably be having my me and Jeremy's whatchamacallit, Justice League review, and then after that, I have a really interesting video or episode where a friend and I we're discussing the meaning of existence. I don't know. Check that one out. It's gonna be in 2 weeks. Justice League review in next week. And yeah, dude, I don't know. Just tune in, and we'll just leave the comments below if you want to, or comment below if you want to keep this discussion going. What you guys like about Spider-Man? I know people are still talking about this movie. I see videos on YouTube still. They're like a week old or whatever. They're all like, Spider-Man is whatever doing. People are still talking about this movie, which is fascinating. So comment below if you liked it, what you thought about it. If you want to know more about Mark, comment below.
Thanks for listening to me ramble on.
Yeah. And if you don't subscribe, make sure to hit that sexy little subscribe button there on the
And be cool to one another. Always be cool to one another. You're not cool if you're not being cool to one another.
Hey, it's all right. Yep, we'll catch you next week. Later.